It's Real Fit Radio with B
and J.LOU.
If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, welcome back.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Men are paid not merely for what they know, but more particularly for what they do with that which they know.
I have to just let that digest a little bit. It's like one of those Peter Piper picked a pepper when he picked the pepper.
Well, it's what you say all the time. Having the knowledge and lacking the implementation.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know.
And that's so interesting that you picked that, because everything that I want to talk about today, I'm not attacking men, but
But you are.
There's some accountability that needs to happen or take place. I don't even know if accountability is what the word would be for it. But before we jump into that, we need
to find out what you're talking about.
Right, yeah. We don't have to do a self-check. We good. And the weather is amazing right now. I know I'm about to knock on wood and be like, I jinxed it. It was so pretty yesterday and today. We are very blessed because just the stuff you've been telling me, like the snow in Houston and there's crazy things going on where it's like they never had snow and the water for the pipes and then there's no power. And even with the pandemic, it's just all these different things that are going on. I mean, something could happen like that here where we have earthquakes and stuff. I hope that those people there are helping each other. This is probably a time where if you didn't know your neighbor, you might know them now. Well, somebody may have had to help the person next door who they've never had to have any type of interaction with besides a hey and goodbye. So yeah, I went that way real quick because I didn't want to just gloss over that. Count your blessings, people. Man. But back to what you're probably like, what are you talking about? So originally I was thinking about self-care. It's ever changing because what you required at one point in your life is different at another point or stage in your life. Self-care for a kid could be lunch, the playground, recess, going to bed on time, make sure you brush your teeth, and picking out your clothes. You can't hit that person. You have to use your word. You still are learning. That's a different type of self-care. And you have more assistance sometimes when you're a kid, which you said earlier, for lack of knowledge. You really don't know, so you're being equipped with all this information. But lately, and you can't escape it with all the social media and everything, we always talk about plastic surgery, different people trending in the new celebrities, who's dating, toxic relationships, this, that, and it's just so much. And I kind of stay up on stuff because of it being relevant. Us, all three of you guys, I don't want to exclude myself, but for you, Josiah and Jair, that industry, I still try to keep my ear, as they say, to the streets, or just kind of be in the know of what's going on, who's doing what. And to an extent, like some stuff I don't need to know that you guys started dating. But this person in my feed produces movies and also is writing and directing on some new projects, or this new person started a label, or they're looking to work with new artists, just different things like that. So once you click on one thing, other things start coming. It's like, I only read an article on Jay-Z in regards to his management, but they gonna tell you Jay-Z was spotted in Hawaii with no shirt on. Jay-Z is doing karate. You get what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So you just get flooded with so much information sometimes. With that being said, I've seen so much as of recent with this stuff with men getting caught up in the craziest situations with who they're dating, domestic violence or toxic relationships. And then flip side, women are being looked at because of us knowing their dating history and everything. And it's just like, wait a minute. I understand we have TMZ and everybody catching you in these places, but I think at some point there's a level of accountability and what you just read, knowledge that you have based on the field you're in, that you got to start moving a little different. You can't do what you used to do. And that's a part of self-care as well. You can't associate yourself with the same types of people. You may not be able to partake in the things that you used to before, but I cannot stress enough, because I don't see it a lot with women. I see it a lot with men. And I feel like we've had a podcast before about double standards and vulnerability, but I just have a heart for it more with men, because the way it's set up in the world, women automatically are looked at as being more fragile. And to an extent, we are emotional, but I still feel like there's some accountability there. Even from watching shows, when a man is accused of something or a man's reputation is tarnished from just words alone, there doesn't have to be solid proof. That's it. Your character, who you are, all that. I don't care how long you've been in the game or all the great deeds you did. This one thing that was said about you, it doesn't even have to be proven yet. It's trending now. You are an abuser. You're on drugs. And I say specifically the abuse part. And I know that's super touchy, but I still felt like I wanted to touch on it. And I don't even know how we're going to title this, but I really want to say to the men out there, you guys have to be more accountable and seek some sort of counsel from the women in your lives that are not attached to you in a romantic type of way when you start engaging with different women. It's a lot going on. And I say even specifically more for our Black men. And I'm not ostracizing or leaving out other men, but I'm seeing it a lot with entertainers and athletes I've seen it with before. And I understand the pictures come out, but I still feel like the stories need to be told. I have a son. I have a husband. My son is a different type of relationship. I know my son. If there was an accusation made and he told me he didn't do it, but there was a mark on the girl's face, or he said, Mom, we got into it and I pushed her, I feel like the stories still need to be told. What I'm seeing that happens is once a woman says you did it, that's it. It's not even a trial or anything. And I think that it's so one-sided. We've had talks in regards to situations, and I don't even want to start talking about specific celebrities. I'm not going to go into that because once you mention this person and that person, now you're fixated on what your opinion is because you already have one in regards to that situation. I'm saying overall, you should have the right, innocent until proven guilty, unless there's a tape of them seeing you punch, hit, hurt, whatever. You got to show me, they say the receipts, the footage, show me. The story still needs to be told. Evidence still needs to be gathered. And then the outcome is what it is. But I just feel like a lot of these guys are getting railroaded and a lot of the blame falls on them too, where I go back to the accountability thing. You need to start looking at the type of women you're entertaining, especially some of these women that are saying some of the stuff they say about their thoughts on men, what they do to men, how they act, how they carry themselves. And when I say carry themselves, how these women carry themselves, why would you see all that and still move forward and interact with them? I know you're going to be like, you're not going to hold bars. You probably will mention these people. I'm so sick of hearing the names and all this stuff. You got to be accountable. You have to be smart and you have to seek some sort of consultation because you operate in a different capacity on another level. You require a different type of self-care on this level. Before you were Jay-Z, Michael Jackson, Joe Budden had an accusation one time too. Before you were these guys, you had a little bit of, I don't want to say, I can't think of as anonymity.
Leeway.
Yeah, well, anonymity, like people didn't know who you were. So it's like, I'm not going to say you got away with things, but the light wasn't on you as much. Now it's a different ball game, and slander, defamation of character is real. And beyond all that, once the narrative is just push through social media, through YouTube, through traveling word of mouth, it's hard for people to unsee it. It's hard for people to even take into consideration your side. When we saw the pictures, we heard the story, we saw the tears. Okay, I get all that. But we still need to hear both sides. Even back to, and that was a big one, everybody knows, the Chris Brown, Rihanna. And they were kids. I feel like it's so one-sided. And we got to hear him tell his story later on. But it's so disheartening. And I speak from the heart from having a son. I can't say somebody's a monster and I haven't seen and heard all the facts. I have a daughter as well. So I get it. If my daughter showed up with a black eye, yeah, I want to put my hands on somebody. I'd want to beat their ass. I really would. But in the same token, if the male said they were both in there fighting and it was some other stuff that happened, it doesn't necessarily mean that she was all the way in the right. Under no circumstance, I always hear, should a woman be hit? Under no circumstance should you put your hands on my son either. And it's really interesting. You know, I'd have to hear the feedback, but to parent all girls or to parent a male and a female, I've heard in lyrics some of the crazy stuff that women say that they'll do to a man. I mean, hell, and I'm going to say her name. Cardi B said that she puts her hands on her husband. I'm the one. And it was laughed at. It can never happen. I would be furious. I would want to put my hands on her. You're not going to put your hands on my son. And you're not going to feel like it's okay because you're a female and he was taught not to put his hands on you. Is he supposed to just get beat up? Is he supposed to run? I mean, how does that work? But you just want to be smart and try not to even put yourself in those type of situations. And that is a form of self-care. I don't think this will be titled self-care because it's so much bigger than that. But I'm really want to pound this in or just give my thoughts. Men, you have to be so much smarter, so much more calculated, hold yourself to a different standard, be accountable, protect your character, make sure that you're leading with the morals and values, and you got to keep yourself surrounded by good counsel. Because you can find yourself in a bad way and everything changes once an accusation is made. The police have come and put cuffs on men when they've gotten a call. It's such a touchy situation, again, with the son and daughter. A woman calls and says, I was raped. We were here. We were getting worked up. I said I didn't want to. He said he did, and he's gone now, but I called because I didn't give consent. They're going to go get the mail and put cuffs on him. They're going to take a kit if there was sex. I see this and I know it's like those are shows, but how much protection, how much leeway, what type of supporting facts need to come into play where it's like, wait a minute, I heard what you said, but until we get everything, we can't just haul somebody in. We can't begin to make these accusations. We can't do that, you know? That was a mouthful.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I'm just frustrated about it because it's stupid.
Well, the thing that you said about the story or someone telling their side, there's this saying that then came out in several different ways where it's not necessarily about the truth, it's who tells the story first. And what's so crazy about this world, once the story is told, they're going to go off that first narrative, and whoever comes behind that has to fight tooth and nail to try to defend what that initial story was. Think about it. You use Chris Brown. When that story came out, he was villainized forever. And then even after he told his part, people were still coming down on him like, that still don't negate the fact that you did what you did and you should have more control and this, that, and the other. Like,
she grabbed his penis. She spit in his face. He needed to be more bruised. If she had cut his face up more and maybe punched his eye and it was bleeding, he needed to get beat more in order for the world or the majority to be more understanding or be like, whoa, now she got some bruises, but your bruises are worse than hers. So, okay, maybe you might be telling the truth. Is that what needs to happen?
I don't necessarily know what needs to happen, but I always tell you that I'm the type of person that try to be as objective as possible because I know there's your side and their side, and then there's the godly truth. But unfortunately, a lot of times in the world, people take the first person story, and specifically with male to female relations, the female always win in this. It's kind of funny because Joe did say something that I related to because I used to tell you this with sexual interaction. I never initiated sex with no girls for the most part. I can't think of one where I was the aggressor in any situation because if it went down, it's because you wanted it to and you came after me. Nobody ever told me to do it. It's just that I don't even think I had the mentality, well, if I do it first and something goes awry, then XYZ will happen. I don't even think it was that. I just think naturally, I'd rather the initiation came from the woman as opposed to me doing it. Even with toxic relationships and stuff, especially with these recent events, and I'm going to keep the anonymous or anonymous, how you say?
Anonymity. I'm going to look it up because I'm making sure I know that's the word. I know that's the word I want to use.
I'm going to keep these people anonymous just like B did, especially with these recent events on some Pusha T shit. If you know, then you know. Y'all got to do better, man, in terms of having some discernment. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, no, I can't. I just want to make sure.
I've always straddled the fence in terms of relationships, like moving fast and then being patient. Not just relationships, just dealing with people, watching them. Especially with these recent situations, like they've had certain experiences to go off of. Or
track record.
They've seen, better word, track record. They've seen it. So for you to come behind somebody and with the same person and put yourself in the same situation. That's on you, man. Like, that's like me running behind one of my homeboys, or my homeboy told me about a chick that I had my eye on, and he say, dude, that girl was bad news. Every time she get into something, the dude end up going to jail, or the dude end up in a bad situation with people because of some stuff she does. She gets them in fights because she don't know how to stop talking. And then you go right behind him after he gave you this information, and you go and deal with that person, and then not even a month later, you end up in the same situation he told you about, or something like that. This is a generalized example. When you have those situations where you have information that you can pull from, you definitely shouldn't be dealing with some of the stuff you're dealing with. And I'm talking about any man out there.
We'd like to take this time to highlight one of our sponsors, Journey of a Legend.
You. Yeah, you. What's your passion? Purpose. Every day you try, you succeed. The time is now. Journey of a Legend. It starts with you.
To learn more about Journey of a Legend or purchase merchandise, go to www.journeyofAlegend.com.
We already have the 8-ball against us in regards of, number one, being a black man, and then number two, just being a man. So now I can generalize it. Just men, you already in this arena are losing. You coming out on the losing end off the rip. So you definitely have to be cognizant of what you're doing. And then to touch on the last piece that you were talking about, where before you were who you were, or as in a limelight, if you was a successful businessman or entrepreneur or celebrity, you have money, you have notoriety now. That shit that you was doing when you didn't have nothing, and the women that you was dealing with, whether you had some altercations with them or not, that's not gonna come out right then, because you're not important enough. You only have these situations heightened when you're in the limelight of things, in whatever field you in, that your name is being thrown around as a mogul. And I'm not saying that it's a right thing because you were somebody that didn't have any notoriety when it was happening, but you definitely don't want to do that shit when you do get it, and then just make better decisions. And I can't stress enough how important it is to have somebody on the outside looking in. I don't care if it's a best friend, best male friend, or a best female friend. I would prefer you to have a female friend, because sometimes, well, no, a lot of times they can see shit that we can't see as men on women and dudes, you know, but we gonna keep it on the topic on women. While you're looking one way because your friend is a woman and y'all didn't have no sexual relations or nothing, that y'all just really good friends and she looks out for you, they can see these vultures coming from a mile away. And if you're a smart man, you'll take heed to some of the information that they're giving you. I think a lot of times the reason why I didn't get into certain situations when I was younger was mainly because I had a lot of female friends. Even hanging around older women, I got to understand how they think a little. So certain situations when I was in them, it was like, oh, that must be what G-Ma was talking about, or that must be what so-and-so was talking about when she said, this is what I did when I was this age or whatnot. Okay, this makes sense. Let me back up out of here. But you have to be smart enough to, number one, take in that information, which goes back to the statement, with that information, implement it. And then two, if you don't have nobody around you,
you better use some of that money and get somebody.
Yeah,
that's what they have. PR. They have PRs and everything else. You need to start looking for somebody. They got them. You need some sort of paid consultation before you begin to go down that path, because you have a whole lot to lose. And more so than the materialistic things, your character is so messed up once your character is tarnished. It's forever brought up. I saw something when, I'm pausing because I said I wasn't going to mention anybody, but it was funny. When a specific thing happened in regards to a rapper, a physical altercation, they started going back to Chris Brown. I'm referencing him.
Up for nothing.
Yeah, start talking about, remember when Chris Brown did. I'm like, this dude, and he actually came out and was like, look, don't bring that up. I don't have nothing to do with this. I'm minding my business. And not that he makes the best decisions sometimes, because he wiles out. but it just keeps coming up. And the crazy part is, since I mentioned it, after that stuff happened, do you know that Rihanna was sitting with him at a Lakers game? Not immediately, but it was down the line. So they were like, I don't know if they reconciled, but when I heard his account of what happened in that car, and when he said, I told her just go on, take the car, and she faked like she threw the keys, but she didn't. And then she got out and said, help, help, he's trying to kill me. Do you know if they had come and pulled guns and stuff, it wouldn't have been just that. That dude would be dead. And those are 2 kids. I still understand that was a male and it's a female. And I'm saying that because I know it's like, it doesn't matter. I've heard everything in regards to that particular case. But at what point is it, 1, they're both kids, and 2, what happens to the female? It has to be like some Lorena Bobbitt type shit where it's like, oh my God, and everybody knows that she cut his penis off. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. But as I said earlier, unless you take the brunt of the blows, unless you show up gushing with blood, you can't have been hurt in any way. She's got bruises where you grabbed her on her arms. We see that. Her face, you see the bruise right there. We can see it. Remember that movie I showed you, When Men Don't Tell? It was an old movie. If you want to pull this up, it's a really old movie. The lady in it played in Who's the Boss? It was a TV show. This is way back, but somebody might know the reference. She was the lead in that, and she played this. This woman was beating her husband. Remember, babe, I pulled it up, and it was When Men Don't Tell. It was an old movie, and she kicked him and stuff. She woke up in the middle of the night, and you said, I'm not watching this, but she woke up and she said, why did you get in here late? He said, but honey, I told you that I had to work late at the office. And she punched him, and he went to the ground, and she started kicking him and hitting him, and he just balled up in a ball. And the next morning she was like, I don't know what comes over me sometimes. I just get so angry. But she had been like the whole movie. The title was When Men Don't Tell, but she was beating him the whole movie, like broke his arm. And he just was afraid to tell anybody because he just thought it would be preposterous. And when he did decide to tell, the police officers laughed about it because they're like, your wife, and she was small, your wife's beating you. And so he just kind of left with it. But then the neighbors saw her run the car into the house and they like witnessed him being attacked. And so I'm saying all that to say it's so far-fetched to hear that a man can, and I don't even want to say provoked, because I don't think it's even about provoking. If you take 2 people, if you put your hands on me and I shake you, I hit you, if it's 2 women, this is going to be so bad. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. What happens when it's 2 women hitting each other?
Nothing.
So if we're in a relationship and it's 2 women.
I don't care if it's the male dominant female or the.
But what if the woman is like ripped?
It doesn't matter. She's still a woman. They'll never view that same situation.
What about 2 men? Would that be just considered a fight?
Yeah,
so there's not domestic violence?
I ain't saying it's not domestic
No, I'm saying,
violence.
I'm just saying the majority. I wonder what they consider. Like, oh my gosh, he was getting beat on.
No, it still won't be viewed as the same thing. It's not. That's one thing that's going to be universal. If it's 2 women, it's going to look like 2 women were fighting. If it's 2 men, it's going to look like 2 men are fighting, because what they going to say is they are equally weighted in strength and all that. If it's a male on male and female on female. So that doesn't matter. It only happens when it's male on female. And I wanted to say that other thing about, it's kind of interesting, even when I do see these things going on with some of these people that's in the limelight, it be happening with the same chicks. Like,
same 12?
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, I'm not saying that this should happen with anybody, but it just seems like y'all be going after the same fucking women over and over again. It's like, dude, go to Honduras. I mean, go to, Europe, go somewhere where nobody knows who that woman is. It's plenty of beautiful women out there that you can go kick it with, and you might not even have no issues like that. Because for one, what we have here in the U.S. sometimes, I think we be so tainted about what we see on social media. Don't come for me in no comments talking about, well, what you talking about U.S. women? It ain't got nothing to do with that. Well, I was trying to be funny with it, but at the same time, I'm being serious, because it's like these same names keep popping up, and it's like, y'all can't meet nobody in Kansas City somewhere on all these tours, You mean to tell me you still want to deal with old girl over here who done already had a track record of doing stupid shit? And think about it. The ones that seem like they don't never really have no issues in terms of that, unless they're the cause of it, like they cheating or something, is usually one of those males who decide to get a girl that's off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
When you start dealing with high profile, you start seeing a lot of bullshit. And it's usually because they in the same circles and somebody else might have hit her sexually or something. And it's just like the circle is too tight, man.
Well, I think too, you guys need to have a different standard. We've said this in many podcasts. If a woman says men are stupid, I'ma use you, I'ma take you for all you got.
Then believe
you gotta pay for my cars, pay for my bags. I run this. You broke, you can't deal with me. When I say they push that like it is the anthem right now, I've never heard so much craziness. And I like all kind of music. I've never heard so many female rappers praise for dogging men. But you flip it, and they'll say, oh, this is just so disrespectful how they talking about women like sexual objects. They've done it for years. One, I despise when someone uses their supporting argument for, well, they did it, why can't we do it too? No. Well, he shot this person, I want to shoot him too. Well, you a murderer, I'm going to do... No, it's never been a good argument. Because somebody's acting a damn fool, your reason is I'm going to act a damn fool too? Well, you doing it. Why can't I do it?
Don't tolerate it and move with somebody else. And I can't think of one man, and I probably won't be able to because you won't see it. But I can't think of anybody who don't deal with the women who's shooting the anthem out there who deals with this type of shit. Anybody who chooses or who have chosen probably outside of that realm of I'm gonna treat him how he look or whatever, those he gotta buy this to get with me, this, that, and other. I don't think those men are having that situation.
Oh, I know they're not.
They're having a different
I know
situation,
they're not. But I feel I feel like, and you said this to me before, some people aren't equipped with the information. They just lack
it.
They
ain't gonna show it.
Right. It's all they see. Well, I'm saying it's all they see. That's why they're dealing with this stupidness. That's why I was like, I want to talk about it. I'll put it out in the air because maybe it's just as simple as they just don't know. It's like I've always dealt with women that talk. I've always dealt with women that expected me to come in and they're going to run my card. I've always dealt with women that talk crazy to me. I mean, that's what it is. It's kind of sexy for her to degrade me. I know she going to talk crazy to me and I know she going to, you know what I'm saying, run my cards. I know she's expecting me to pay for her. That somewhere has been made the norm for a certain group of men and they getting worked. It's crazy. They are getting worked. And I can't be the person that doesn't say anything anymore. Because we get on here, we talk about all kind of stuff. This conversation I normally would just have in the house because it's such a touchy one and people are offended. But hey, when you speak truth, you're gonna offend somebody.
People are offended if you say the sky is blue.
I get it, but some stuff I just stay away from. It's like I stay away from that because you know what? Everybody parents differently. Everybody has their opinion on that, and that is not something, you know, who you date is who you date, whatever. But other things, when we talk about vulnerability and all the other previous podcasts, those are things it's like, I'm going to tell you how I feel about that. This specifically is just Josiah, who, if you're a new listener, that's our son. He's 21 and he meets a lot of females. And I don't even want to say it's a fear of mine because we are like intertwined as a family to meet who he meets. And it's very much intentional and it's not in a weird type of way. We hang out together. We go to movies. We go out to eat together. And if you were taking up a portion of his time, you're going to meet us at some point. And I think it's important and it's safe for him because we need to look at the character of who you spending time with. It doesn't mean you guys are going to be together or you get married. It's just a safe way to move in these days and time because if you don't have somebody, and with the phones and all that, the narrative can quickly turn to something else. And it's her word against yours. And it's still words. The proof or the burden of proof hasn't, you know what I'm saying, been made to say that you were actually right. We've proven it. It's done. It's been seen. And you're wrong. So it's not fair. I just feel like even though the weight is heavier, men, you got to do better. If you don't want the issues or the problems, seek counsel, set the bar or the standard. If that's just what you like, then that's just what you like. You like the drama.
You know what you asking
Yeah,
for then.
exactly.
You can't get mad if something goes awry.
As the news story develops, like you said, man, every time somebody deal with that girl,
that one coming.
Yeah, he got exactly what he deserved. You walked in there. It's like you knew the job was dangerous when you took it. You knew when you started dealing with this girl, the type of history she had, what she said out of her own mouth that she does, what she's going to continue to do. And you've seen all the victims, past victims that it's like, dang, she was with him. And these are the accusations that have come of the interaction they've had. So you deserve everything you got coming. But for those that may not have known, for those that may have been completely unaware, as they say, ignorance is bliss. Trust and believe now. If you are an earshot of the podcast, hopefully somebody shared it with you. They pick up something to take away and they're telling you now like, yo, you got to do better, or you may find yourself in a situation where your reputation is tarnished, your character. And I think that has to be, I know that's got to be something horrible to sit with for the rest of your life when you know you're not the kind of monster that the world, or you've been bullied by the media and they've painted you to be this type of person. And it really was something where it was simple as, look, if you spit in my face, if you spit on me, if you put your hands on me, my initial reaction would be to hit you.
Damn head off.
And spitting to me is if you spit on me, I can't. Matter of fact, I believe that spitting is considered assault. I'll look at it still, but that is an assault. If you spit on me, know that all bets are off. Any type of
understanding is going
reason that I have or thinking.
What did I say to you that caused you to want to hawk up and spit on me?
But I've heard many men. I'm so glad that I've not been in that situation. We got into it and she spit on me. And it's like, wow, the type of reserve you had, because I would slap the shit out of you. Just imagine if you would. And I mean, there are probably some people that are like, that's nothing. You spit on me, I don't care. I don't care if you spit on me. You mad, I wiped it off and walked away. I'm a bigger person.
Okay.
Well, I'm clapping. Kudos to you, because I believe my truth is to admit my weakness. That right there, that's a whole nother level. So I talk to my son differently than I speak with my daughter in regards to their interactions when they're dating, and things can get heated. But I would say when you're selecting somebody, those are things you kind of look for before you get involved in a relationship. The ticks, and because I feel like if I ever get to a point with you, even if it's a yelling or shouting match, I never want to put my hands on anybody. I just feel like that's not the answer to it. That's only going to get us to a whole nother level. Why do I need to put my hands on you? Is it to let you know, like, I'm on another level now? Like, I was yelling, but now I'm on a physical level.
Well, first, I'm not even trying to get you to the point where you even wanting to hit me like that. That's one of the main things. If we can band together like this on other shit, oh man, we be ahead of the game. But I be looking at them Twitter feeds on how quick women be jumping to people's aid and don't even know the full story. Kudos to the women out there that be like, oh, y'all quick to jump on somebody's case, but what if that was your son out there that was being accused? Would you be quick to jump on the female side, or would you be saying, that's not my son, she's a fucking lie, he would never do such a thing, etc., etc.?
Well, I said it earlier. You guys don't even help each other out. You guys don't band together. You can band together and watch. Well, let me finish. You guys can band together and know what team is doing what. You guys can band together and play sports. But when one man comes under attack, you should watch and learn. There were people saying for specific recent events that it don't matter if she was right or wrong. We gonna support this person. It don't matter. We gonna stick together. It's a woman. It don't matter. You guys don't use the platforms to support each other. It's almost like you're afraid to attach yourself to say, hey, we gonna stand on this one. I don't know what is going on. Let's get the facts, you guys. Come on, let's not tarnish this man's character.
Be on competition shit. That's why, especially with women and shit. You say we don't band together, and that's really because dude be really waiting for the dude to fuck up with the chick and thinking that it was something that he did, and they be waiting on it. I'm not talking about anything else. I'm talking about specifically with why dudes ain't backing certain dudes play like, nah, I'm backing him on this. I don't think he did such a thing. No, that's because they be eyeing the chick that the dude is with, and then it's like, soon as that blow over, I'm gonna go run over there. Cause dudes are snakes. That's what they do.
Get the same kind of case
like that, but they don't be thinking like that. That's why I said they be thinking with their head, not their head. It ain't about I want to band together and try to help somebody out that look like they in a situation that could not only damage their reputation, but damage any financial gain that they can get going forward, because nobody wants to deal with domestic abuse. They losing endorsements, all kinds of stuff. And then, like I said, dudes be thinking on a different level. And it's like, instead of thinking that way and seeing that it's other women out there, it's like a cockfight competition. That's why I said I think a lot of times that's why dudes don't be banding together with these type of situations, because think about it. You look up and the person that you think should have been defending them, no, they with the chick once the altercation is over with.
But you guys can win championships together.
It depends on what your definition of success or winning is, because you got dudes that want to band together to win a championship. Then you got dudes that satisfied with being on a team and on a bench collecting a paycheck every game.
Well,
everybody ain't about winning a championship. Sometimes it's just about being on a bandwagon until you fall off.
Well, guys, I will say again, reiterate. Get you some strong people around you. Get you what they say, your core 5, core 2, whatever, and move forward intentionally. Being select and protecting yourself, protecting those around you, because they're directly and indirectly affected when your character's attacked. Somebody's son, somebody's brother, somebody's cousin, uncle, so on and so forth. Father. It sucks because, I'm not saying that some people are out there abusing women.
Absolutely not. Nobody
but
would ever
for
this
in recent events, the stuff I've been seeing, this is just stupid. It's getting ridiculous.
In the words of UB, fellas, don't give them no more ammo than they already have. You already have certain things going against you. Don't add on to that list, setting yourself up or putting yourself in dangerous positions to lose it all. You work too damn hard to get what you got, only to lose it on one situation, and it happens too frequently.
And he's not just alluding to
just in general
to materialistic things or notoriety. Your reputation is your biggest asset. Because you could lose stuff all tomorrow and still go out with your reputation and maybe do something else. Maybe go into another capital venture or whatever it is. But once your reputation is tarnished, it just cuts off other opportunities, and not so much financially, but even connecting with different people. Because who wants to knowingly go in and deal with someone that's got a BS character rap? I'm not going to knowingly go in and be like, this person has been known for beating on women, drugs, and so many more things. There are other things that can tarnish your reputation, but we're specifically talking about the character that's tarnished with men on these situations that come up, because that's what they are. They're situations until I know more. It's just wrong. It's wrong, and you guys got to do better. The power is in your hands. Be smart. This is ridiculous. We can we can go back and forth about this.
I don't have nothing.
Because I'm just disgusted with it. I really am. I'm disgusted.
I'm actually more disappointed in the men right now that keep having this happen, because I know y'all know better.
I think I like to say disgusted, because when you say disappointed, I always see the picture like. But disgusted is like,
okay, well, you can
I'm so because I am. I'm so disgusted.
I'm talking to the men out there the way y'all would talk to me if y'all was my homie. I do understand what you're saying, but women are nurturers, so you're choosing those words. I'm choosing disappointed, because if I was in a room with my homie and I know he did some dumb shit, I would tell him just like that, dude, you on some dumb shit right now. Why the fuck would you do that? Like, whatever. Sometimes you need that talking to like that. And I'm saying I'm disappointed because I know you guys know better.
And stop letting everybody film everything too.
Oh,
that's a whole nother topic. I don't even know if we would use that for a full topic. Stop letting everybody record everything, unless that's your way of That's your factor. Like
Or
I had to,
having evidence.
yeah, with recorders going in the room the whole time. She said this, but this would really happen. Maybe you do need some cameras in the rooms where these things are going on, and women don't know they're being recorded. And I know that's a whole nother thing. You can't record somebody without their consent. It's not about the consent. It's about my protection. In the event that anything is said opposite, the cameras tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah,
There's
this
no
will never come out as long as you don't do nothing stupid and try to tarnish me.
But in the event that I have to pull on it, I got the handy dandy cameras, and I travel with a couple of my advisors all the time. So yeah, and if a person feels like, are my recordings or what's going on, it's like you got to build some relationships where maybe that at some point is not needed. But right now, protect yourself, protect your reputation, and just be smart about it. Say it 1,000 times. You want to keep this conversation going? Did you have something else?
Nah, I was just thinking, I honestly don't like getting done, but I'd rather get done by somebody I did build a relationship with or build that time with, and they got me later, than how these people been getting got. Because these people that's been getting snatched up in these situations don't have no length of time to go off of to really necessarily know what the person is about.
They got a track record, though.
Done. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But not with them. That's how they see it. But that's it. I'm done.
This is crazy. I don't want to hear another story about a man doing some stupid shit. It's just stupid to me. It's like, you had to know. But I know that that's too much like right. I'll hear and see something else.
In the words of my daddy, he tried to tell us something, me and my brothers. He'd be like, but you did it that way. You just told me how I can not do it. And he tells you all roads lead to this if you do this. Well, yeah, but that ain't going to happen to me, though. That happened to you.
There's nothing new under the sun. And with that being said, if you would like to keep this conversation going, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or a suggested topic, you can shoot us an email at realfitradio@gmail.com. Our podcast drops every Monday. You can catch a snippet of our latest one on our Instagram at realfitradio. If you're not following us, you definitely should be. As always, we hope this inspired, impacted, or empowered someone. Until next time,